Wake up and be amazing and grab your daily Danish. May each of you live to be 150 years old. May my voice be the last one you hear. Let me repeat. May each of you live to be 150 years old, and may my voice be the last one you hear. I believe with proper diet, exercise, and modern medicine that that's coming and it's possible. In the last 100 years, we've actually extended our lifespan over 20 years. The saddest part is today's generation is expected to live shorter than their parents. All that being said, I want to welcome you. Hello, Tammy. Hello, Steph. And so invite your friends. Let's learn how to survive the holidays together. 7, 8, 9, 10. It depends how crazy I'll go and how long I'll go. I'll try to keep you for about 30 minutes. If you have any questions, comments, ways that you have survived the holidays, thrive through the holidays, what do you do to allow you to do it? If there's a comment that I make, if there's something that you like, hit a heart, hit a like, make a comment. I have my magical glasses so now I can actually read and see. Hey, Decker, which is now your barber rack, I guess. But anyway, so I can read them. I had to make myself some notes because sometimes I get a little spastic. So one of the things I've learned, I don't know how many, if anybody knows what Toastmasters is, can you give me a thumbs up or a heart? Do you know what Toastmasters is or are? So let me explain what it is. So it's an international group of speakers. Many people go to improve their speaking skills, and they say that public speaking is one of the most feared things. Hey Tracy, so I've been blessed to do motivational speaking. I just want to get better. And what they're teaching me is, number one, it's called and ums, so you don't want to do that. Those are filler words, so you just want to pause. And I speak freaking fast. My brain moves fast, so I'm going to try to slow down a little bit so that you can absorb the message and so that we can talk together. At the shooting of this video, Halloween is right around the corner. I had a conversation with a champion last night, which is what we call our clients. You are not a member, you are not a number, you are a champion of health, wellness, change, and you're a trailblazer. So she's an elementary school ed teacher. And in the elementary schools right now, the classroom, probably not the classroom anymore because we're not really allowed to do that, but at least not in Texas, there's candy and it's everywhere. Hey, Pat, hey, Annie. And, you can only resist so long. One of the things we want to teach is to control your environment. But when you're at school and you don't bring the candy, or you go to the office and there's the candy bowl right there, and you go 3 or 4 times to talk to the principal, vice principal, receptionist, that little mini baby Ruth, that little Butterfinger, just keeps talking to you and calling to you and calling to you. And one of my suggestions was, number one, don't go to the office quite as often. 2, did you know research shows that if the candy bowl is clear and you can see through it, you're more likely to pick that candy over time. So ask them or bring them an opaque bowl. Put it so you don't actually see it unless you peer into it. So just an easy tip. 6 mini Butterfingers add up to a large Butterfinger. And rule number 2 in Danish is take responsibility. If you choose it, own it. And remember, each time you do, that it either gets you closer or farther from your goals. Look, I like chocolate every now and then too. We're going to talk about one way today that I think it's truly helped curb chocolate cravings. I didn't specifically have them, but I know my wife, if she was online, she's at work, would tell you she is a self-proclaimed chocoholic. So let's just kind of talk. Like I said, I made some notes because I wanted to make, 7 or 8 pretty valid points. I think one of the hardest things for people to do during the holidays is to keep their regular routine. Their office parties, there's kid choir events. We get out of our routine, and we get a little flustered. For me, on a regular day, I pack my snacks, I pack my lunch, and if the day comes and I walk out of the door without it, I just don't really know what the heck to do because I'm pretty regimented in my schedule. And one of the things I want to teach people is to begin to control their schedule. So when you control your schedule, you're controlling life instead of life controlling you. It's also okay to say no. You are not obligated to go to every single social event. Pick and choose them wisely. Which ones do you want to go to? Which ones are going to fill your heart and soul with joy? Which ones are filled with people that you want to see or you haven't seen for a long time, that you want to give a hug to, that you want to tell them that you miss them dearly? Which ones? It's also okay to say no when the host or hostess offers you a cocktail. It is very hard to say no. I will tell you that, like anything that we do, when you make the better choice, the next better choice becomes easier. I didn't say it was easy, but it becomes easier. And that works opposite too. So if you give in sometimes, then it's easier to give in again and again and again. So be good. Again, if they offer it to you, you can just politely say no. You don't have to go, oh, I'm on a diet. I can't eat that. It'll make me fat. No, just be polite. Look them in the eye and say thank you. They're giving it to you because they care about you, right? With that being said, whether it's the candy reference I made earlier, or going to a cocktail party, or going to a holiday dinner, think in moderation. I know that you often have a big plate. It doesn't mean you have to fill up the entire plate. It doesn't mean you have to stack it 3, 4, 5 inches tall. It doesn't mean you have to go back for seconds. But if the green bean casserole that your grandmother makes is something that takes you back to your childhood, have a little bit of it. If your mom, grandma, granddad, uncle, whomever, best friend makes the best cornbread stuffing, then have a little bit of it. You don't need to have a mountain. I mean, for those who are old enough to remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when he built that giant pyramid-looking thing of mashed potatoes, you don't have to have that. We tend to get that first initial pleasure zone hit with the first couple bites, and then we just eat because it's rote. We just do it over and over and over. And although I teach what a serving looks like, at the end of the day, it's whatever's on your plate. So take less. Think in moderation. Be realistic about your holiday expectations. The last 2 years now, we only have cable during the holiday season because Tanya loves the holiday movies. And life is not a Hallmark movie. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Those movies always have the girl that the guy doesn't like or the guy that the girl doesn't like, and they go off and they get married and live happily ever after in the mountains or something like that. Unfortunately, life isn't like that. So set realistic expectations. What do you want out of it? What can you give to the group, to the party? What can you bring and share? So just really set realistic expectations. Set a time to leave. So if the dinner's over and then there's cocktails after, do you want to stay and have the cocktails? Make sure you have a safe ride home. And if you want to, then own it. But if you're trying to stay onto your routine, stay true to your long-term goals, then set the time to say thank you very much, grab your coat, and get out. There's nothing wrong with that. You were present in the moment. You enjoyed the moment. So make that, set realistic expectations. So focus on today, not yesterday. Oftentimes, I'll share a story about my life. When you go home, often your parents, your aunts, and your friends in your hometown remember you when you were 8, 9, 10, silly little kid, wiping their nose, doing the allergy salute, that kind of stuff, or something silly you did in your hometown. And over time, sometimes we revert almost back to those childhood things that we did. It doesn't have to be. You're an adult now, and you get to be you. I can remember traveling. We were in New York City, actually, and my parents several years ago, and my dad rented this expedition. We had to drive to Philadelphia, and my parents were like the Osbournes, if you watch that show, and they're just arguing about, no, take the turnpike, take this, go over this bridge, go over that bridge. I'm sitting in the far back of the expedition. I'm thinking, I think I'm 12 years old, and I think my responses to my dad were very childlike. Even though I was 30-something years old, it's easy to do. So just take a deep breath, know that you're in control, and you have the power to say no and be the adult, or to be quiet when being quiet is appropriate. Be good to yourself. I think this is the most important one, is that set an appointment with yourself. Do your exercise, do your daily walk, do your daily meditation, sit in silence, do your personal development. These are things that we teach. But be good to yourself. Fuel your body with water. Fill it with the proper fuel so that you feel good. If you typically eat food in the least processed way, and then all of a sudden you're eating unhealthier food, your body's not going to dig it. One of the things we've added is Shakeology. I'll talk about it. I think it's delicious. I'm going to take a sip because this is my midday snack, and I'm missing my midday snack. So it's easy for travel if you're going out of town. It gives you the vitamins and nutrients. It'll curb your appetite if you go to a party. But be good to yourself and plan. Here's another one. If you don't want to be alone during the holidays, don't be alone. Hello, Annette. You can volunteer at a soup kitchen, at the food bank. You can join an online community like ours, like the Dream Academy. We have many ongoing challenge groups, which will help you understand how to eat through the holidays, how to make sure that you get your nutrients through the holidays, so that myself or one of a co-champion can check on you to make sure that you got your exercise in for the day. I mean, there's lots of ways to do it. If you want to be alone, be alone. Depression is pretty rampant during the holidays. I don't want you to go there. I want you to take charge, take control. So one of the things, I really am going to talk about this nutrient-dense shake that we like to refer to as a stupid shake, because when I started drinking it every day, I did it because it was part of this new regiment that I wanted to, part of this new community that I wanted. And over time, it didn't really take all that long. First of all, it tastes freaking good. It's easy to make. I mean, it's literally a blender. If I don't want to use a blender, I can just shake it up with water. I think it tastes better with almond milk. It's creamier. But what it did was it filled me up. Hey, Wayne, it filled me up and it let me go and get through the day. Tanya, again, I said earlier, is a proclaimed chocoholic. And I am not. I'm the typical guy who likes the salty, crunchy nuts. I'm like a little kid when it comes to the candy part. I'd rather have a gummy bear, I think, than fine chocolate. I know that seems silly. But as our relationship grew on and on, Tanya always had little miniatures, Hershey miniatures, Dove chocolates hidden somewhere in the freezer or in the cabinet in the dining room. And I would come home and I was like, I know you have some freaking chocolate in this house. And sure enough, she'd get up or point it to me. I didn't really want to know where it was because it'd be too easy. And that's another trick. If you don't want to eat it on a regular basis, don't keep it in the house. If it's harder to get up, get out, and go to the store or go to the convenience store and buy that candy bar, most of us won't do it. So don't keep it there. But since we've begun, and there's my grandmother when I was growing up made cookies. She actually sent them to us once we moved from Pennsylvania to Texas. So cookies and sweets and candies and pies and cakes, they're everywhere. They're rampant. But you'll eat them more because of it's an emotional connection to the past than when you add your Shakeology, which helps curb those cravings. But back to what I was saying with Tanya was that we don't have that. We don't sit there at night on the couch while maybe we're actually finally relaxing after, for both of us, usually anywhere from a 10 to 14 hour day and go, hey, where's the chocolate? We don't even buy the chocolate at all. So if how have you survived the holidays? Or are holidays one of those crazy times where you just say, screw it. My life's upside down. I'm not going to exercise. I'm going to eat like crap. Hey, Travis, do you just give in and then all of a sudden you're sitting there with your celebratory champagne at a party celebrating the new year and going, holy cow, time goes by fast. I'm another year older. I didn't achieve my New Year's resolutions. And then you go to put on that pair of jeans that grandma bought you or your wife bought you or your husband bought you for Christmas. Hey, George. And you can't meet the button to the eye hole. Why? Because it's reported that the average American puts on between 10 and 15 pounds during the holidays. It doesn't have to be that way. If you stay in control, if you set realistic expectations, if you are good to yourself, if you just say no, those are ways. If you think moderation, when it comes to moderation, when I talk about what a real serving looks like, you should see people's eyes. They get all bug-eyed sometimes, like, that's it? And I tell them to take a deep breath, and when they measure their food and they eat the rainbow and it's bright colors, and that if they take their time, if they eat real food, not food made by a scientist, they'll be more full. There's so much more fiber in their diet that it'll fill them up if they slow down, if they sit down. A mindful eating is sitting and enjoying the flavors. Look, you're a human being. You're a mammal, right? You're made to move. You have to fuel your body to survive. And as humans, we have a palate, right? Sweet, salty, sour. I can taste all those. Your dog has no idea. They eat just to eat. We should have, I said it before, we should have good food. We should have good drink. We should be surrounded by friends and family our whole lives. Exactly. So some of these questions were submitted by some of our champions are things that I hear all the time. So I do recommend the Shakeology. I absolutely love it. I used to apologize for liking it, but I'm not going to. When you find something that works, you share it. If I like a movie, I'm going to share a movie. If I have a favorite car or a favorite restaurant, I'm going to share it. So Shakeology absolutely curbs those cravings. And it's crazy. I mean, I don't know how long it takes. I don't know when it happened, but it was one of those days, it was days or weeks later when we're like, hey, we haven't gone to, I didn't really go to the candy store, but we didn't go to the cabinet in our dining room and get out the candy. So it's pretty cool. Same time, when we started to use it and eat food in the least processed way, I was like, I don't go to the medicine cabinet and get Tums anymore. It's been 18 months since we've been very diligent and very attentive to our diet. Very attentive. Has it been perfect? No. Do we win more days than we don't? Absolutely. But I can tell you exactly the last time I had to go to the medicine cabinet. I actually went to the like a Walgreens or Duane Reade. I don't know exactly which one it was. And it was when I was in New Orleans this past summer because I had fried food that I don't always have. I had a couple more beers than I had, and I didn't feel good. I thought, I haven't had heartburn in so long. I forgot how miserable it makes you feel, and it doesn't have to be that way. What has to be that way is that you learn to win today. Look, when we're going to work together, we're going to talk about what your goals are, whether it's losing weight, getting off medication, having a better relationship with your kids or your spouse or anywhere. It's all those things. It's not just the scale. And if we could throw the damn scale away, I think we should. Hey, Lyle, can you do me a favor? If you're not driving, Lyle, I want you to, hello, Kim. Lyle, I want you to tell me how many pounds you've lost. Like I said, it's not always about the scale, but Lyle is super coachable, and he listens, and he plugs in, and we connect weekly. And I think, well, Lyle, you have to tell me how many weeks have been working together and what's your weight loss. Just tell me because it's awesome. So Lyle and I are going to continue to work together to make sure he continues that pattern through the holidays, and he kicks ass and he wins that pattern. So again, we talk about holiday parties. Look, if you know you're going to a party at 7 o'clock at night, then you added Shakeology to your diet, or you added something to your diet, I recommend, let's talk about how I would do it, how I personally would do it. Most days of the week, I drink my Shakeology before lunchtime, whether it's breakfast or a snack. It helps me when I go to meetings. I go to network meetings. I have what I call discovery chats or discovery visits, where I learn more about the individual. And I don't always have the same exact routine. It's just life changes. I'm sure life changes for you too. But by having it, it curbs that craving, hey, Court, to go to Arby's or to go to Wendy's or go to Chick-fil-A. And the Chick-fil-A in our town makes me want to beat my head against the dashboard. It's double lane drive-through, and at lunchtime, and they have a local police officer directing traffic. I'm like, bam, bam. I'm like, come on, people. And you say you don't have time. How long does it take you to wait in line, block traffic, wait for them to have you pull up, and have the kid bring you your food? And just because it's chicken doesn't make it healthy. But again, so for example, if I knew I was going, if I was going to a party and it was going to be at 7 o'clock at night, I would have a different breakfast, different snack, different lunch, and have my Shakeology about an hour before I went. It'll help curb the craving to go eat a cookie or multiple cookies. It'll ensure that I'm already full so that when I sit down at the table, I don't overfill my plate. And that's often what happens, right? Your routine changes. Maybe you usually eat dinner at 5:30 or 6. Well, now you're like, well, I want to be able to eat Molly Joe's great apple pie. So you don't eat your regular time, and then by the time you show up, you're freaking hangry. You're hungry. And when we teach the hunger scale. we want to keep you at about that 5. That keeps your glucose level normal so that it doesn't drop so you get hangry, right? So on the hunger scale, if you show up to a party at 7, 8, or 9, you're going to freaking shovel in food. That's not moderation. That's not mindful thinking. It sets you up for failure and oftentimes feeling guilty on the way home when then you really want to be like Uncle John, who used to sit in the big lazy boy laying back asleep, snoring with his hand down his pants and unbuttoned because he was so damn full in the tryptophan coma, which happens at Thanksgiving. It doesn't have to be like that. And when we connect and you're not really sure, I'm literally a text, a phone call, an instant message, an email away to ask for support, to talk you off the ledge, so to speak. Earlier this year, I had a woman whose son played high school baseball, and there was popcorn, and there were hot dogs, and Cracker Jack, and all kinds of different things. And she literally texted me, said, "This is where I am, talk me off the ledge, give me some advice." So she wasn't set up to win that day. We talked through it, but we knew that the next game would be 2 or 3 days away. We talked about how to fill her cooler with healthy snacks so you could still have that hand to mouth, which is something that she'd learned over time. And she won, and she felt good about it. She felt good about it. I want you to feel good about it. So I struggle with desserts. There are definitely healthy options. We are experimenting with all kinds of different Shakeology recipes, and so I made I think it was just this week, a healthy ice cream alternative. And we used chocolate Shakeology. It was really literally this simple. It was 12 ounces of almond milk. I used unsweetened almond milk. It was 2 scoops of chocolate Shakeology and a cup full of ice. We blended it smooth in our blender. We poured it in a pseudo Tupperware container. We froze it for an hour, put the spoon in, and it was more like an iced milk. It wasn't as creamy as regular ice cream. We took a bite and we're like, weren't sure. It's like, it tastes pretty good. Is it sure? And then, but what's funny about it is neither of us were like, woohoo, it's wonderful. Like, well, this tastes pretty good. And we kept eating it, and it was a much healthier alternative. Also, when it comes to sweets or ice cream, don't have it in the house. If you decide that you really want ice cream, then go to Cold Stone or go to Baskin Robbins, get a kid scoop, and put it away. But we also make these Shakeology energy bites, and they are, I don't know all the ingredients off the top of my head, but from oatmeal to Shakeology to little miniature chocolate chips to flaxseed, which adds the fiber to it, and we keep them cold, and they're delicious, and they're easy to eat, and they really get rid of that sweet piece, and it's better. It really is a better choice than Grandma's oatmeal raisin cookie. So absolutely. So the Shakeology ice cream, I'll put the recipe in here. It's really super duper simple. Super duper simple. There are brownies. There are all kinds of different things. There you go. So gingerbread balls. We want that holiday piece. We want to enjoy it. We want to remember the good times with our family, friends, and loved ones. We don't have to get rid of them. I had a long, detailed conversation with a woman. So Shakeology is so good. When I open my container, I'm not going to lick it on camera, but I just lick the top of it. It's good. I'm taking another sip. So this woman I talked about her new diet plan. It was super restrictive. And it was so low in calories. Understand, calories are your fuel for your body, right? It's the energy you use to digest your food, to get up and move, to think, to love, to dream. But so restrictive that her mind was foggy. She's a nurse now, and I want my nurse to have a foggy brain. She was primarily eating meat and vegetables, and that's it. And then this particular diet, again, diet is a 4-letter word, that she had to buy special food. Oh, it just makes me want to bang my head on the table. It doesn't have to be that way. Thank you for sharing that chocolate peanut butter oat bars, Annie. They're super easy. If you don't have this Shakeology, message me and I'll show you how to get it. It's super easy, and it's easy to use, and it gives you the energy. So we do use that one supplement. That's my supplement of choice to Shakeology. It's my vitamin of choice. It gives me energy. It's my probiotic. It keeps me full, keeps me satiated, curbs my sweet tooth. But going back to the woman that was just miserable into this quote-unquote diet plan, Our diet plan isn't restrictive. Our diet plan, I hate that. It's a lifestyle change, and it's way hard. That's why I ask you to win today. Change is hard. We want to teach you to create new habits rather than break old habits, because research says it's easier to create something new than change something old. So I want you to eat real food in the least processed way. When we make, or I make, let me tell you what my shake is today. It's vegan chocolate, scoop of vegan chocolate. It's almond milk. It's peanut butter, it's a banana, ice, pretty simple. And then I mix it with spinach, because I still struggle, even though this is what I do for a living, as a lifestyle life coach, right? So I take my fitness, I take my life coach, we blend it together, and we know this emotional and physical health that's going to bring us joy. So I get an extra serving of spinach. It just changes the color. It doesn't change the flavor profile. So it's veggies first, fruits next, proteins, carbs, healthy fats, seeds and dressings. And you may not even know what any of those are, but that's okay. I was and am and always will a teacher and a coach. There you go. So one more question, then we'll call it a day. Before we do go, I'll review some other tips. I'm going to ask you, if anything you learned today resonated with you, please give us a like, please give us a comment. If you know somebody that you think this will help, please share the video. Please share what we do, because we truly, at the end of the day, our team wants to ignite life and spark a healthy revolution through education, motivation, and empowerment, leading to what? Long-term, independent living. Because that's what it's about. You don't have to take any of what you do to the extreme. What you have to do is stay balanced more days than you're not, and be in it long haul. So again, oftentimes, look, it can be a very depressing time for some during the holidays. I recommend, I would love to have you be part of our community, so you have somebody to connect with every day. You might connect, and my goal, my job, my dream is for you, so if it's Annie, if it's John, if it's Lyle, if it's Courtney, is to connect with each other, so that you have a friend, somebody to talk to. You could always reach out and talk to me, because I'm going to be there. I had a conversation with Tammy earlier today, and we talked about accountability partners. And I asked her on the walk, I said, so what's been your biggest non-scale victory since we started together? And she said, showing up. She said, because she knows that I'm waiting for her. And it isn't if you have an accountability partner that is your husband or your wife or your kids, that they don't love you, or your best friend. But oftentimes, say it's your girlfriend and they've got young children and the kids don't sleep or they get sick, they're not showing up for your walk. If your husband, wife gets called into work, they're not showing up. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It doesn't mean they don't care for you. But my job is to do everything in my power to show up, to wake up, to show up and kick ass. So I'm inviting you personally to join our community. It's kind of silly fun. We have this little booty challenge. It's going to be where we teach you how to do squats. It starts next week. That one's absolutely free. We want to show you what we do. We want to show you our coaches across the country. We have an attitude of gratitude. I stumbled to that. Starting November 1st. So that's a 30-day group to get us through the holidays, to wake up every day, to be grateful you have a breath in your lungs every day. Rule number 1 of Danish is every day is a great day. When you are grateful for the life you've been given, life is so much more enjoyable. If it's not us, reach out to your church group, reach out to a soup kitchen, do something to be connected. We are also mammals and we're very community oriented. So find those people. We want to be your long-term sustainable community. It doesn't matter where you live, which is why we're bringing you things online. It's why our vision is truly to take most of what we do online, so there are limited barriers. So here we go. Let's review real quick, and we'll let you go. And I always want to thank you for your time. I am humbled by the fact that you're sitting here listening. I want to share a story real quick. So sometimes to connect with people, sometimes to make an extra dollar, I drive for Uber and Lyft. And I picked up a young woman this week, and she sat in the front seat. And I look, like Disney, when you're with me, you're a guest, whether it's in the studio, in my car, in my home. And I don't recall her name off the top of my head, but I said, hey, Julie, how are you? I'm Dane. And she looked at me and her eyes got big. She goes, what's your last name? I said, Boyle. She goes, I follow you on Facebook. And it was almost like I was a celebrity. And I was super humbled, and she says, "I've seen your sign in town." And I thanked her again, and we've connected. We started having a conversation online this week. And what I remembered is with influence comes responsibility, and I'll never forget that. So thank you so much. But let's survive the holidays. Let's survive the holidays. Let's survive the holidays. Keep your regular routine. Make an appointment with yourself every day for personal development, for exercise, for fuel, for connection in your community, and make those the most important appointments of the day. Think in moderation. Enjoy Granny's cornbread stuffing, but you don't have to have 3 servings. They don't have to be a mile high. Don't think about the ideal holiday. Think about your holiday. Remember, we don't live in a Hallmark movie. I wish we did sometimes, but we don't. Don't be alone if you don't have to. Again, I want to extend a hand to have you join our community, so we'll do it together, and we'll go right into the new year, and we will wake up, show up, and kick ass every day. Focus on today. Remember that you're not the child that you were when you just lived with your parents. There you go. Survive the holidays. Let's do it together. You are an adult. You are in control of your attitude. You're in control of your emotions. And it's okay to say no. You don't have to go to every cocktail party. You don't have to say yes to every drink. You don't have to say yes to seconds. Be polite and let them know that you're just not interested at the moment, and maybe change the conversation to something else. Look, be good to yourself. Eat good food. Surround yourself with great people. Enjoy the holidays. Remember those that have moved on. Celebrate with those people that are with you. And dream big, dream often, and dream out loud. Once again, please subscribe to our videos so that you'll catch your daily Danish and you'll be reminded to wake up and be amazing every day. If anything in here resonated with you, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a like, share what we do, because the only way for us to truly change the world and change the short-term mentality of low-caloric diets, of not blending all 7 elements of health and wellness is for you to share, for you to join us. So thank you so much. Once again, thank you for grabbing your daily Danish. Have a great day.